Right, peeps, I'm back again. I've only just left. I did that video last night when I rolled in drunk about the game week 32 and planning all my team and everything. And I thought I'd come on, do a Saturday review and see if anything's changed. Because there's been a big development today, hasn't there? Marmoush, or whatever his name is, has got a hat-trick in about 15 minutes and has blown the whole of FPL wide open, because City looked like they were back to their best today. Absolutely blew Newcastle away. Very surprising, especially as they should have been tired from the Champions League, but instead they played absolutely fantastic. And Newcastle, to be honest, didn't really show up. Very, very, very poor display by Newcastle. But Mamushka, what's his name, peeps? Is it Mamushka? Should I go and look? No, can't be bothered. Baby Salah. That's it. So Baby Salah gets a hat-trick in about 14 minutes. And he's blown it wide open, isn't he? So what we have to do is decide whether we want him and when we want him. Because we've all got our plans for game week 29, like I showed you last night. And my plans involved taking out Gakpo this week and getting Cunha in. Okay, so this is live rank for this. We'll have a quick look. Okay, so I didn't play any chips and I've got no Aston Villa. So, of course, I'm in for a massive red arrow. There are people triple captaining Salah, people on slot manager with 2 games, people on Emery with 2 games. I'm going to get battered, especially as none of my players have stepped up. I don't own Chris Wood. Watkins has scored and it's not going too great. But to be honest, I'm extremely surprised to have only dropped so far 37k. It's going to get worse, probably going to get a lot worse, but I'm prepared for it, because that is why I didn't play my chips. I'm playing them later on when I expect to make up and more for ground that I'm losing now. So Bournemouth, I tell you what, why don't I just get triple Bournemouth and be done with it? You know what I mean? Fernandes, Man United got no players left. Very sad news about Ahmad, out for the season probably now. The one player that fitted Amarin's system is now gone, So what's he going to do? Is he going to change his system? No, of course he isn't, because he can't. He's hopeless. He's the most rigid, unbending manager you could ever meet. Even worse than Maresca. He's come in, he's fitting his square pegs into the round holes, and he's going to keep banging them with his hammer until they fit in. Well, the thing is, peeps, they're not going to fit in. They're going to be hanging around the relegation zone. He's going to get the boot. And now we've lost Rashford. He didn't give Rashford a chance, did he? He come into that club, decided he didn't like Rashford from the get-go, and he's booted him out. Now Ahmad's injured. Rashford would probably be quite useful, wouldn't he? But he got an assist today, didn't he, for Villa? So Ahmad's out for the season. Picking these Bournemouth players, honestly, may as well just get rid of them the way it's going, because they seem to be the only people in midfield that are scoring points at the moment, don't they? What do you think, Cat? Oh, Jesus. The cat looks like I did when I rolled in last night. You should see the state of her. Eyes all groggy and all over the place, peeps, all over the place. Right, so, played the wrong keeper. But, I did think about playing Flecken instead of Pickford, because I thought Everton might be tired after their exertions against Liverpool. But I decided to go with him. Flecken, of course, outscored him. Would have been very useful, actually, those extra 6 points. Very useful. What is looking like a very poor game week for me. Because Fernandes, United have got no players left. So he's not going to get very many points. But like I said, I wasn't expecting a big red arrow this week. Anyway, peeps, what we're going to talk about is Marmoush. Because this is my team at the moment. I showed you my plan last night. If you haven't seen it, go and watch it. Because I rolled in drunk. It's quite good, I think. It's one of the best ones I've done. Better than this one. I've got a hangover now, so it's not going to be too fantastic. And I've been too lazy to even go for a run. So I'm going to have to go for one afterwards. I normally go for one before. So, original plan was to bring in Cunha this week, or Gakpo, and then 29, where I bring in Haaland for Salah and all this type of thing. Now, after that video where I talked about taking out Salah and gave all the reasons why it was a good idea, what happened was people started saying to me, what's he doing? Why are you doing, having a go at me for doing this, taking out Salah? But the thing is, if I come on here and do the same thing as everyone else, I get criticised for doing the same thing as everyone else. But the same people who criticise me for doing the same thing as everyone else are the same people that criticise me if I do something different. So you just can't win, can you? You just can't win, peeps. And the thing is, if you do strike out on your own and do something that's risky, but has the opportunity to propel you up the ranks, people try and talk you out of it, because obviously it doesn't look very good, does it? You think Salah, he scores all the time. But when you actually look at the in-depthness of it, there are real, because I re-watched that one this morning and it still made a lot of sense. But something has changed, of course, and that is Marmoush. So I've got to decide if I still stick to my plan and bring Cunha in or bring in Marmoush. And I've already decided I'm going to stick to my plan and bring in Cunha, because the best thing to do, I think, with Marmoush is to wait, because City's fixtures aren't the best for the next couple of weeks. They've got Liverpool at home, away at Tottenham, which isn't too bad, and then away at Forest. This is before game week 29, when I was looking at bringing in Haaland to captain him against Brighton and to captain him against Leicester. And so Marmoush, of course, could have changed all this. He's a forward, he's 7 million, he got a hat-trick in 14 minutes. They looked absolutely brilliant today, and he did in particular, absolutely brilliant. But the thing is, we don't really know if it's just like a one-off. We don't know how consistent he is, or whether he does this once or twice a season, or whether he's going to keep it up. So having these next 3 games to watch him is going to be perfect. And the thing is, if he does turn out to be really good, then I can just bring him in for Ndai and not bother bringing in Haaland. In which case, I'll still be able to keep Salah and have Marmoush as well, who could well turn out to be more prolific than Haaland, for all we know. We just don't know, do we? If he plays like he played today, every game, he's going to be absolutely fantastic value. But the thing is, he's had a few mediocre performances as well recently, so we don't really know yet, do we? So I don't think it's the time to rush him in. As for that prick Wood, I'm sick to death of Chris Wood, absolutely sick to death of him. I'm sick of the fact that every time he gets a goal, even when Forest lose, he still gets all the bonus points. That really annoys me. Why, oh why, do teams that lose, why are the players getting bonus points? It shouldn't even be a thing. You know what I mean? I'd be much happier if they just scrap this useless bonus system, because it is absolute rubbish. You can get a player might do nothing for a whole match, then he might score a goal off his backside in the last minute or whatever, and he gets 3 bonus points, and it's just wrong. It should be the official player of the match, 3 points. That would be what I would do, and I'd scrap the rest of it, because it's a complete annoyance, the whole thing. And why, oh why, peeps, while I'm on this hangover fueled rant, why, oh why, does it take FPL hours to put the bonus points on the thing? You go and look at your team on FPL and you can't even see your proper score because the bonus points aren't on there. Yet FPL Live, you go on there, or you go on FPL Team, and your points are there as soon as they're scored with the bonus points straight away. So why are they on there straight away, but not on the official website straight away? Don't know, peeps. I don't know. Honestly, drives me nuts. Right, so I take it that game finished 2-1, did it? It better have done. So I won't be happy. That little pricks scored. Right, so 2-1. Good. So I'm thinking the best thing to do with Marmoush is to wait. He's only 7 million. He could go up to 7.2 maybe by the next game week. But then he's got those tough fixtures, and if he doesn't score, people will soon get bored of him, start selling him. So there's no rush to get him. That's what I'm saying. Obviously, if he scores against Liverpool, scores against Forest and all that, then at least we know he is the real deal and we can bring him in with confidence. But bringing him in now, I think, is a bit like chasing points. So I'm sticking with my plan with Cunha, which means my Haaland plan is still on track. You know, it could well be that Haaland gets a couple of goals against Liverpool, Marmoush is rubbish and gets subbed off after 50 for Doku or someone. We just don't know, do we? You know what City are like. So that's it, peeps, in regards to that. So Chris Wood, you know, I've always got an excuse not to buy Chris Wood. And when you look at the fixtures, you can see why, because it's just ridiculous. Where have they gone? Can't even see them. Down there, we're in alphabetical order, of course, beyond me. Right, so let's have a look. Newcastle, Arsenal, Man City. You know, I mean, he's probably going to score against Newcastle, the way they played the other day, today. But those three fixtures, I just cannot bring him in. And what worries me is there's a very good chance I'm not even going to have him in game week 29 because it's going to be difficult to have him. And if I want him, really, I have to do it now. Instead of getting Cunha, I have to get Wood. But when you look at those fixtures, I just can't justify it. I just can't justify it. So I'm just going to have to go with Cunha. I mean, they've got Southampton the same week, but you just know that Wood's going to score, isn't he? I mean, Ipswich is showing a bit of fight to them, aren't they? Just going to have to hope for the best, I think. But yeah, but he's killing me, Chris Wood. You know, he's one of those you don't buy, you don't sell, isn't he, for the last few games? He just keeps on blooming scoring. So I wouldn't mind if it was 6 points, but this bonus 9 points every time he gets a goal. Starting to get on my goat. Really is, peeps. So that's enough of that. Let's go and have a look at what the content creators have been up to. So I've got it already. I've checked to make sure it's working because the other week I come on here after the Liverpool game to see what they'd all been up to, and of course the thing crashed because there was too much traffic. So Harry is top, which is surprising because he didn't use his assistant manager chip this week. But what he did do, he took out Gakpo and bought in Watkins. And so far, it's paying off because Watkins has got 9 points. We don't know what Gakpo's going to get. We don't even know if he's going to play, do we? I hope he does. I hope he plays some part anyway. I think actually that Wolves game is not going to be easy for Liverpool. People saw with the Ipswich match today that those chips, it's not guaranteed. You know, nothing's guaranteed in the Premier League. And Wolves could give Liverpool trouble. You know, I honestly do. Something's telling me Wolves are going to give Liverpool a few problems tomorrow. But we'll see. You know, they might well win 5-0 or something, but I don't think so. So he bought in Watkins. So he's got Watkins and Wood, which is why he's doing so well. I think he's using a similar kind of strategy to myself, where he's going to use his assistant manager chip in game week 31, 32 and 33. And it makes a lot of sense. A lot of sense. 5 games all on Newcastle in that period. So no need to do what Joe's done. See, Joe's used his transfer to change Moyes into Emery. So this is a problem with this chip, is you need to use transfers on it. Whereas if you use it in game week 31, you can just stick it on Newcastle for the Leicester match, then the double game week, then the next double game week. And you get 5 matches without having to use a single one on your manager. So he did that, and he's second because it like what's his face? He's got Chris Wood. Unless there's someone else who's got Django. That's about it really, and there's 4 Emery points. Whether that's it for Emery's points, we don't know, do we? That might be all he gets for the week. Just don't know. Right, then we've got Andy, who did Ndoye to Watkins. So he went on the Watkins Express, and Eze to Nweri. I nearly got him in, actually. I was tossing up between him and the Bournemouth midfielder because he's so much cheaper. But the problem is transfers are so important, aren't they, at the moment? So rare and important. We need everyone we can get. And bringing him in, we just don't know how long he's going to be there, do we? Because Saka's going to come back at some stage. There are reports it might be early March. This isn't a million miles away, is it? So that's why I didn't go with him. But it has to be said, it kind of worked out for him, didn't it? I think I got 5 from my transfer. He got 8 from Nweri, but that was against Leicester. So, you know, he looks decent, But like I said, long term, he's not. So, and I think, you know, if you haven't got transfers, you can't risk it, especially when you see all the injuries that happen all over the place. I don't know if he's got Ahmad, has he? No, he hasn't. A few people have, I think, in this league. Right, so Mark, 36, did Gordon to Semenyo, an interesting choice. I've got Semenyo as well, but most people were saying that Clivert was a better option than Semenyo, but Mark's gone with Semenyo, so that's good to see. Bit of faith in him. So he's got Wood as well. Has he not used his... oh, he has. He's got Slot. Okay, so he's using Slot. Then there's Wag, who's had all sorts of injury problems. Look at this. She had Jackson and she had Havertz. Both of them. Both her strikers injured for months. So she did Jackson to Visser, Havertz to Watkins, which has worked out. Winks to Odango. So he got 7 points, and Moyes to Emery. So in effect, so this is a chip again, you see. She had to use a transfer on a chip. And she ended up on -4. And he only got 4 for his chip, didn't he? So in effect, so far, Emery has got a nothing this week. So this is the thing, isn't it? This is what the danger of chips. Is that if you they've all got downsides, and that's the downside of a chip. The fact you have to use the transfers on them. So she's got Watkins and Watkins, basically. That's about it. That's the only difference there. Then we've got Bakar. He did Isaac to Watkins. He's the only one in this group that actually got rid of Isaac. He's on 29. He's on Slot. So nothing remarkable. Nothing remarkable at all anyway, really, in these this week. Everyone's got pretty much the same as. Lake Riser's got Ahmad, so he's got a problem with him. You get Visser off his bench. Very bad timing for a long-term injury for Ahmad, isn't it? When people are struggling for transfers. I'll tell you who's not struggling for transfers, and that's Fabio Borges. I'll tell you what, he's still got 5, right? He had 5 last week, didn't get involved in the Everton double game week. He's still got 5 and didn't get involved in the Villa double game week either. I don't know. Obviously, he's a very good manager, but there's conservative and then there's conservative. I mean, if you've got 5 free transfers, you don't really need to worry too much about game week 29, do you? So you'd think you could, like, do a bit, get Watkins or, I don't know. He's obviously decided he wasn't going to, so he's just done Sire to Dango and keeping his 5 free transfers. Trouble with having 5 is sometimes you might not want to use one. Do you know what I mean? And you have to. You're forced to use one. I'm not sure 5 is the optimum number to have, in a way. Right, here's someone who's only got 1, and that's me. Like most people here, actually only got 1 now. So I just did Sar to Clive, but very similar move to Fabio. I just done it for transfers. So like him, I haven't used my chip either. And he'll probably be using his in game week. I don't think he has. So he'll be using his in game week 31, no doubt. and it looks a good option. Now, as is last, I'll probably be last by the end of it. But what's he done? So he's got rid of, he got rid of Gakpo and got Cunha in. Which, you know, he got Cunha in away at Liverpool. And we don't really know, do we, for sure, that Gakpo's out. So, you know, he's obviously done this so that he's gone Moyes to slot, because for some reason he didn't fancy Emery. And it's obviously, so far, looks like it's going to pay off, because Emery couldn't even beat Ipswich. But it's, you know, he's had to use a transfer for this, and he's taken out a player that arguably does have more point potential this week than Cunha does. So again, it's another example of the chip forcing people into compromises. It's a bit of a double-edged sword, this chip, I think. When you add all the luck factor into it, you know, it's quite a bit of luck involved, isn't there, with this chip? Quite a bit. So we'll have a quick look at Reddit anyway, Pete, see what's going on. Click and see what's happening in the fantasy world. What's this? Moyes. Still talking about Moyes. I mean, that's like old news, isn't it? Or did he get more? Did he get a table bonus today or something? Oh, he got 8 points today. Yeah, so I wonder if people did stick with Moyes for this week. Some people might have done, mightn't they? So he got 8 points. We're switching to Emery's only got 4 points. I don't think you would, though, would you? Not when Emery had a double game week. You're not going to risk it, are you? Especially after they just done a tiring midweek match against Liverpool. I mean, Palace are always the favourites for that game, I think. Why has he only got 8 points, though, for that game? They won, didn't they? I don't know, peeps, don't know. I haven't really delved too deeply into the scoring in that one. So let's have a look. Well, what's happened here? Another injury. Didn't know about this one. It's dropping like flies, aren't they? Akanji's out now for 8 to 10 weeks. Surgery. It's crazy, all the injuries these days. I don't know what's causing it. Ahmad out for the season. I'll tell you what, people are going to end up with 3 Bournemouth midfielders. The way it's going, it's just ridiculous, isn't it? They've got all the cheap assets of good fixtures, haven't they, really? I mean, most other teams don't. Ahmad was one I was looking at bringing in and get for game week 29. But it's a massive blow for United, isn't it? Absolutely massive. I can't see that manager lasting much longer. He's too inflexible. He's not going to cope, is he? Right, Ahmad. He's still going to try and play exactly the same way. Except the only player that the system works for isn't there. Madness, peeps. Right, all these players available. Of course, he didn't even play, did he? Well, Eze didn't start, did he? What else have we got here? We'll get into team lineups. Few injuries. They've got untold amounts of injuries. Untold amounts. Just them Wario. Just look. Well, I don't know. Did he play at striker today? He probably didn't. Did he? Oh, we're talking about Blumin Marino. Came on and got 2 goals. I mean, no one's going there, are they? I wouldn't have thought so, but you never know. You never know. It's all blooming lineups. How can you get rid of the lineups? Gakpo injuries actually helped a few people, hasn't it? Because they got rid of Gakpo and got slotted. They didn't know at the time that Emery was going to mess up. But they probably would have gone with Emery if it wasn't for that, because they wouldn't have been able to go with slot. So that's about it, peeps. So let's do it with something else, because that isn't the best in my opinion. It's sorted by best, but they weren't the best, were they? Emery owners, are we cooked? 25% selected by. That's a lot, isn't it? Is that the top 10k or is that everybody? People that were going to leave Emery chip on Chelsea for a Chelsea match, are we still going to do it? I mean, I know Chelsea are looking absolutely woeful at the moment, aren't they? Awful. Absolutely awful. But they couldn't even beat Ipswich today. So are people going to trust Emery with that chip next week still? I don't know. I think people might have just had a gutser of a chip and say, oh, stuff it. Just leave it on him. Can't be bothered making a transfer for a stupid chip. I'll just leave it on Emery and see what happens. Maybe that's what they'll do. But I wouldn't feel overly comfortable. I don't think it's a table bonus game now either, is it? Because I'm pretty sure City will have overtaken. Mind you, Villa didn't win, did they? Let's see if it is. It could still be, couldn't it? I know they're still only 4 points ahead of Villa. Because Chelsea have actually dropped 2 places. Look at that. They've gone from 4th down to 6th because Bournemouth have gone ahead of them on goal difference. Chelsea has scored more goals than Bournemouth, but Bournemouth have conceded less. So Bournemouth have jumped ahead of Chelsea. So now no longer is that game a table bonus game for Villa next week. So it means it's probably not worth it, is it? It's not worth taking the risk when you're not getting a table bonus for it. So that was good. I was worried that it would be a table bonus game and that Villa owners could do pretty well out of that one. So I do think they'll beat Chelsea. But you just never know. Where are United on this table? Not doing too well, are they, really? I was still a long way ahead of relegation now. Ipswich have only got 17 points and United have got 29. So, yeah, they're not going to get it. It's a great shame, but I can't see them getting relegated. City might, though. There's talk of next month from getting docked 100 points. So we shall see. Anyway, back to Reddit. And yeah, do you leave it on or not? Hat-trick after 33 minutes. Look at this, 19-24-33. I was watching it. It was absolutely fantastic, that hat-trick he got. Absolutely fantastic. So if he keeps it up, you know, he's going to be a must-buy, isn't he? But like I said, I think you're better off waiting and seeing. Because City, this is the first time I've seen them play like this for ages. And whether it's like a flash in the pan or not, we just don't know, do we? Newcastle, in my opinion, Newcastle just didn't show up. They're awful. Dean, you off at half time. So his game week might be run already. I don't know if anyone would have bought him in. Rashford came on at half time. I've seen that one already with Moyes. Edison's got the most assists out of any keeper in Premier League history, 6. And he's the first one to have 3 assists in a single campaign. It's funny, isn't it? Because City were the ones who started all this playing out the back business. But they do sometimes kick it long, don't they? And it catches out their opponents. You know? We saw that with Verbruggen yesterday, didn't he? Did a long kick, got a goal. You know, teams need to do this more often. There's too much reliance on playing out from the back all the time. You know, we need to mix it up a little bit because it becomes very predictable otherwise. It really is a shame about Ahmad, isn't it? It really is. Mainu's out for a number of weeks as well. And Ugarte could miss Tottenham as well. So I've got a horrible feeling Fernandes is going to have to play deep. Because, I mean, who else is there? They're running out of players, aren't they? They're in a hell of a mess, United, aren't they? Absolute mess. And their owners are having to financial issues as well, aren't they? You've got to like tighten up. There's no money. It's a disaster. They really are in trouble, United. Real trouble. Right, now is the time for double Arsenal defence. Right, always been the case, I think, hasn't it? Always been the case. So it's a good idea. Especially now when they can't score so many goals. They're going to be relying on their clean sheets, aren't they? I guess that's what this article's the main point of it. Honestly, Dango, Clive, Semendo, you could just get all three. And then it was Christie, wasn't it, who got all the points as well today. Crazy, peeps, crazy. At least I didn't keep a clean sheet. Right, so that is about it, I think. So anyway, peeps, I'm off now. You know, my throat's sore. I've got a hangover. That wine last night, very enjoyable. But, you know, I enjoyed going out for that play last night. Bit of culture, you know what I mean? Sitting there outside under the willow trees and everything, watching a play. All good stuff, peeps, all good stuff, you know, especially with a couple of bottles of wine because, like I said, Shakespeare's not my thing, but it did give me a lot of good quality FPL thinking time. And that plan I came up with last night, absolutely fantastic. So watch that video I did yesterday. It was really good. It really flowed good. And it's given me a nice, easy structure now. You know, I know what to do. Just get rid of Gakpo this week, replace him with Cunha, and then the next couple of weeks, just save my transfers. Because what really counts is game week 29. You know, and the team looks good for the next few weeks. You know, it's Fernando's home to Ipswich next week, which would be nice. I still won't play that prick Colwell though, even though we're home to Southampton. Or in game week 28 when they're home to, I probably should, shouldn't I? Should I play, I probably should play Colwell home to Leicester instead of Robinson. But, you know, I've given up any hope of Chelsea ever keeping a clean sheet again, to be honest. But, you know, the team looks good. Team looks good. Who are we captaining this week, by the way, peeps? Because I've got no idea. Are we captaining Salah or where it's Man City? Is there better options? Are there better options than Salah away at Man City this week? Got to be somebody, surely. Who would you captain? Oh, jeez. I don't know. There isn't, is there really? Well, I don't trust Isaac anymore after watching them today. They're rubbish. Forrest's got a good defence, so I probably won't captain Isaac. Probably going to be Salah, isn't it? But City look blooming good today. Mind you, they have got another Champions League game before then, haven't they? Although this Liverpool game, they always get a nice long rest, don't they? You notice that? It's like Liverpool played Everton midweek, but it's Liverpool that get the extra day's rest rather than Everton. It's always the same, isn't it? They always get the longest rest period, those big clubs. You know, and the line for VAR is a bit thinner when it comes to offsides and stuff, isn't it, when they're involved. Anyway, peeps, that's about enough of that. I'm off now, and you know, so like and subscribe and all that. And this hopefully was going to be my game week 2019, but you see it had Ahmad in it, so I'm going to have to find someone else. And like I said, I would not be surprised if I just get another Bournemouth midfielder in, because instead of getting Ahmad in, because who else is there? You know, I could get Morgan Gibbs-White in maybe. Having 3 Bournemouth just seems silly, doesn't it, really? But if they keep scoring 3 goals every game, then, you know, that's what's going to end up happening, I think. Anyway, peeps, I'll talk to you all later. And like and subscribe. Go and watch that video I did last night, because it's very interesting, especially if you haven't used your assistant manager's chip yet. You know, you'll get a lot out of it, I think. You know, you'll probably think I'm talking absolute rubbish. But it does have a good plan in place for when to use all your remaining chips. Anyway, peeps, talk to you all later, probably Tuesday or Wednesday. And cheers for now. Okay then, bye then, peeps.